Hi, Mama. I'm glad to be back here again. I'm sitting down with a certain skateboarding legend that you may or may not have heard of. We're sitting down with Andy Macdonald. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing pretty good. My first visit over here to Malmo, Sweden, and checking it all out.
And what do you think so far? How do you like Sweden and Malmo?
You guys got a pretty sweet scene going on right here. Awesome park, beautiful weather, crazy twisted buildings. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so hey, Andy, you're a very, very busy man. I mean, you run a family. You're skating every contest all over the world. Why would you want to come down to this place? We're very honored to have you.
I was psyched to come check it out. You know, I want to try to get to as many places as I can, places I haven't skated before, and I'd seen photos and videos of this place, people ripping it up over the past like 3 years of the Ultra Bowl contest, and this year I was like, I got to go check that out.
Well, like I said, we're very glad to have you, Andy. Hey, and for those who haven't heard of you, you're one of the skaters who've been skating the X Games pretty much since day one, right?
17 years, yeah. It started in 1995, and I've been a part of the X Games every single season since its inception.
And one of your many, many specialities is the doubles, right? You skate the X Games doubles a lot, is that true?
Yeah, for 6 years. There's the photo.
Oh, look at that right there, Malmo.
My buddy Tony Hawk and I came up with the double stacked inverts.
Tony who?
Yeah, I know. I never heard of that guy.
Okay, so
you may have heard of that guy before. Tony Hawk.
Look at that, Malmo. Tony Hawk and Andy Mac going at it. Hey, and look at
and
these doubles right here.
Duncan right there. What's that?
Yeah. I've seen that guy before.
So that one's from a charity event we do. That's my home park right there in Claremont. We do an event every year for an organization called Grind for Life, and that's at the Clash at Claremont, me and Duncan.
Wow. So, I mean, we could keep this slideshow going on and on because you have so much footage out there. You're known for being one of the skaters to put in the most time, and you're very, very consistent, right? How do you even manage to do doing the things that you do? Because you have a family and everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what keeps me going is skateboarding as much as I can every day, at least 3 hours a day, just out there riding, and people are like, oh, you know, do you train, do you cross-train, do all this other stuff, and I happen to not drink or do drugs or anything, so it's just skating is what gives me energy and keeps me fit, and I do it as much as possible. Going to the gym or something is the most boring thing I can think of to do, so I just go out and skate every day as much as I can.
Well, it kind of makes sense. What better way to practice for skateboarding than skateboarding, right? So doing all this skateboarding that you have been doing, going to all these contests, you still managed to find time to invent this new board game you were telling me about. Can you share a little thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a Swedish couple of Swedish guys you may have heard of. Tony Magnusson and Matthias Ringström.
Look at these guys.
Have a board game company called Mind Twister, and past about a year and a half we've been working on a skateboard board game, and it just came out this month. It's called Skateboard Madness.
Skateboard Madness, the board game.
Super psyched to be proud of it, you know, just be a part of it. It's two legend pros, Tony Magnusson and Ron Allen, and then two current pros, myself and Corey Duffel. And that's kind of who's behind the board game. The board itself is an actual skateboard laid like this with an old school skateboard laid across it. And it's, you know, kind of like Monopoly. You roll dice. There's a trivia element to it. You don't have to be a skateboarder to play it, but it helps on the trivia element of it. And the idea is, you know, build up your sponsors and win the X Games, essentially.
That sounds super cool, Andy. I'm going to be looking out for that. Skateboard Madness, the board game. Hey, so it's your first time in Sweden, but I know you know a lot about skateboarding history out here in Sweden. You were just texting somebody yesterday, and can you tell a little bit about that, Andy?
Sure. The debate was, I don't know if you guys know, there used to be in the 80s there was a skateboard camp here in Sweden, and the Bones Brigade used to come over and skate it all summer long. And one of the members of the Bones Brigade, Mike McGill, was the first to do a McTwist, invented the McTwist here in Sweden in the summer of 1984. And then we were talking about it. Oh, there's the Skateboard Madness game right there on the screen. There you go.
Would you look at that? Skateboard Madness. Check it out.
So we're testing each other on our Swedish trivia, talking about, you know, pro skaters that came from Sweden and tricks that were invented here. And the name of a trick came up, the stale fish. Skateboarding's full of this crazy lingo, and one of the crazier trick names is the stale fish. And the rumor was that Tony Hawk had invented the stale fish here in the 80s at skate camp, and I wasn't sure that he was the actual inventor of it. I knew that it was named here in Sweden, And so I texted him last night just to clear the air, and we found out that
and
he
what
did.
do you know?
He did do the sailfish. He did it in the States, and it didn't have a name. And then he came over for camp, and as the story goes, they were having lunch one day, and the sailfish came about.
So there you have it, Sweden. It's settled once and for all. The McTwist, the 540, was invented right here in Sweden, and the sailfish was named here in Sweden. So that's some skateboarding trivia history right there for you.
720, I'm pretty sure, went down on that ramp as well.
There you go. We got some inside information right there. So Andy Macdonald, thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts. We'll be seeing more of you in the pro qualifications right here. So thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a good time out here in Ultra Bowl 3, man.
Thanks for having me. Good fun.
All right, take care.
Enjoy.